We are hearing from the Trump administration officials on the state of trade talks with Canada. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer spoke to CBC briefly after a high-stakes meeting with his Canadian counterpart, Dominic LeBlanc. And here are both men speaking to reporters, starting with LeBlanc.
We'll have as many meetings as it takes to do the work that Canadians expect us to do. We're continuing to do the important work that Canadians expect us to do.
We had good discussions today. We were cordial, they were detailed. The President, the Prime Minister, obviously they'll be given options and discussions, but I don't think there's anything to report right now.
Caroline Bargout has been following the latest on this from Washington for us. Caroline, you were there when both LeBlanc and Greer left that meeting. What more can you tell us?
That's right. This is their fourth meeting in 3 weeks, and the second meeting this week. It lasted about an hour, just under an hour and a half, probably around an hour and 15 minutes. And when we talked to U.S.-Canada Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc to see if they did come up with a deal, because they had said, or sources had told CBC News, is that the two sides hope to have some sort of an agreement to present to U.S. President Donald Trump as early as Monday. So when we asked Minister LeBlanc if there was a deal to be had, and he said he will continue to do the work that Canadians expect of him. Now, when I spoke to U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, in French, he said that, I had asked him, will there be options for you to present to President Trump in early next week? And he said in French that, he will be speaking to the president and Canadian representatives will be speaking to the Prime Minister. So does that mean that they have come to some sort of agreement? It's not clear at this point. They were hoping, as you know, U.S. President Donald Trump imposed 50% tariffs on Canada on hundreds of products, on Canadian products. Those tariffs are supposed to go into effect next Wednesday. The Canadian delegation is hoping to have those removed and not go into effect at all. They're also hoping to reduce the amount of the sectoral tariffs that are on Canadian autos, Canadian lumber, steel, and aluminum. Now, sources have told CBC News that the U.S. representatives did make some sort of an offer to the Canadian delegation earlier in the week, but that the offer was not as low or as good as the Canadians had expected, and so they will continue to negotiate. So does this mean that after today's meeting, they came up with some sort of an agreement that they will present to President Trump? At this point, we don't know. So will the negotiations continue, Sarah, or do they have a deal? Neither side is saying.
Caroline, there's so much on the line, as you know, and when we have reports from you out of Washington, there's so many people on the edge of their seats wanting to know, what's the latest. Just curious. How much a heads up do you have when a meeting ends? They're going to come out and speak. I imagine it's a mad rush. Can you just set the scene for us?
Yeah. Sarah, we actually don't have any heads up at all. One of our colleagues, Kate McKenna, had heard that the meeting was going to happen today, because originally they said to us, there's no meeting today, but then she heard that there's going to be a meeting at 4:30 today. So, of course, all the reporters, we go and we scramble and we wait outside of the U.S. Trade Representative's office, and we wait until they come. And then when they come, we rush over and we try to get them to answer questions, and they usually don't. And then we basically camp out until they come out, and then we hope that they'll answer some questions. Now, today, Minister LeBlanc came out from one door, and then Jamieson Greer came out from a different door, so it was a bit of a mad scramble to get to them. But we're grateful that they did take the time to at least say something, because sometimes, you go and approach officials and they don't say anything at all. They just walk by you. And so, yeah, at least we got something from them. Do we have anything concrete? Can we tell Canadians for sure there is a deal on the table? We can't at this point. It's just a wait and see.
Right. Well, all the news that you can give. I know there's a lot of people who are wanting to hear it. Caroline Bargout in Washington, camping out and on call, possibly through the weekend. Caroline, thank you.
Thanks.